Right, so just going to get his eyes in now. So I've got it set up like this. I've got my photo there right next to it on the left. It's nearly in line, more or less. It's nice and close so I can see what I'm doing. I've just checked my tracing on paper and just had another good look at where I actually put the lines on his eyes here before I start drawing them on. Just reminded myself where I put the lines. And I can recognise them on here, but I can see that these on here are slightly different from the photo, the best photo. So I'm just going to copy the best photo. I've had a look at this. I won't be following these lines exactly because this is what happens. You can get them on in the right ballpark. You still have to check. Every little single thing you do, you have to check. So again, I say when you say you've traced it on, you know that you're still going to have to do a lot of being very careful about where you situate the angles. I can see that the angle here is kind of in the right ballpark, but it's not exactly right. So I'm going to need to be very careful here, I think. And this bit here as well, this on my picture, his eye, this bit here is shading. It's not actually where his eye ends, it's just a bit of shading. So we have to be a bit careful of that. His eye is actually starting here. But what I want to do now you know I've kind of set it up, I want to zoom in so you can see what I'm doing with his eyes. Just try and get it up there. And I've just put a couple of lines in, kind of this, for me to actually access it well. I'm looking here, I'm looking right at that, the way that goes, that line. So I've got my head tilted right over to get this right here. Like that. It's slightly rounded, but not very. And then this line is coming directly in line with that bit of shadow there. See, it's coming down. I'm looking at this distance here, that bit of flesh there, the shadings next to it. Just looking at that, just to give you an idea of the thickness of that bit of shading. We'll need to take a bit of this away. We'll get this line in here, because I think that one is looking kind of okay with this in relation to this bit here. So we'll put this in. Slightly comes past his iris, very slightly. Then we'll put this iris line in. Now mine looks a bit straight in comparison, so I'm actually going to change that a bit. Get it a bit better shape. Slightly coming round. And I can now see that this could be a little bit rounder. There's a bit of shade, there's quite a bit of shading there. And the shape of his eye is going up quite a bit to the top there. The shading will come when we soften it all out. Just the more I look at it, the more I can see things slightly not quite right. We need a little bit of white in there. I'm not pressing hard. I've just sharpened my pencil up a bit. Actually, it wasn't really sharp enough. Wasn't getting the accuracy I need for this really. Sharp edge on this to get this a bit of white lightness in there. It's going to be quite important to keep that. That's the shadow coming down. Now I'm not going to soften that off until I've done the other eye. I'm going to do the other eye now, and then I'll think about getting the shading in when everything is just right with this. So I'll start with this. This is his eye shape. Just copy the angle. It's not particularly rounded actually. Just copy the angle. And then there's quite a sharp bit there where his eyelid goes over. And just copy the angle. There. It's just more rounded. And when I've got all these lines in, and I just think, okay, well, they're pretty well there now, I'll then measure them with the other eye, just to make sure I've got them right. That's it, just being very, very careful here. There's a line that kind of comes right down there. Very faint. Yeah, there it is. Maybe slightly rounded on the inside here because of the shading. Take this up a bit. Yeah, I think that's looking better. So that's going this angle actually. Now, another line coming straight from this one. Looking at the distance between this and this. I'm just copying the line of this iris, and that actually is going to change the shape of that I've just measured here by eye. We'll just see if that's going to be any good. So just being very, very gentle with this pencil. Just very, very gentle. A bit further down. There. That looks better. That looks better now, that shape. Look at it where his pupil is. And now I'm looking at this line that I can just about see in here. Just about there. And although it's going to kind of disappear into the darkness, it still needs to be in the right place. This is the kind of thing that you just need to do by eye, really. If it looks right, then it probably is. Distance here, what I've got here, there's a bit more shading here, in here. And we'll get his eyebrow in the right place, and I'll get the blender going, and we'll see what we can do with the blender, just on what we've got here, and then we'll try some charcoal. Kind of comes down, Then there's a little mark coming out here, this way. Little marks coming across like that. This is quite a darker mark. It's nearly just up a smidgen, and then it kind of goes down really. So just get them in roughly. It's very dark to just behind that eye there. So it's very dark to here. That kind of mark. So I'm looking at that. And now I'm going to bring it down a bit to get this distance right here. Just do it by eye. So it's quite a straight line. So there's a little bit of shadow here. A bit more straight across here. But it's still quite close. So I have to bring it down. I have to bring it down a bit. And then straight across. That looks better. Now we've got more shading coming up here. Now I'm looking at where that is on his eye here. It's kind of coming up a bit here. It's a bit lighter. A bit of a lighter area there. A bit lighter. Stronger line. And there's a lot of shading here. More shadow. Just there. This is just marking out where everything should be really. There's a bit more shadow down here. Right, so this is shadow up here, but this is eyebrow. It's not strong. And now I want to do what next with the 4H. Just get a bit of a base on. And because this base needs to be all over, I'm going to put it all over while we're at it. I'm just going to do his whole face. Here, it needs to be here. And we've got a funny mark going through here, which is a line like that, and it's just where the camera has reflected the sun, I think. So I'm just going to totally ignore that. Just put this all over. Okay, so we've got 4H over the whole of his face, apart from his teeth, and a bit of light in front of his ear. There, I've left those out. Very, very gently. just gives us it's kind of a safety base really, so that if I do it wrong I can get it back again and change it. Just gives it a bit more of a nice covering. Just going to soften out everything. Right, now with the charcoal pencil. Okay, so he's really dark-eyed. So just going to get his pupils in now. They're both quite near the top, so it's looking up. They've all got quite small pupils actually, so I mustn't make his pupils too big. But they need to be in the centre of his iris. Same size. Okay, that's about right. And then we'll put the line of his eye in. Now we could be a bit more artistic with this bit now because we measured it all. Just want to kind of get a bit of a softer look to the lines. Then we've got a look kind of comes quite high and then soft down here. This isn't a hard black line here, it's soft. Put it in charcoal because it always blends so nicely and it looks nice and natural. Put a bit of shading in there. It's that kind of angle. Just a bit of shading round. A little bit here. Very gently there. And then a bit stronger here where the shadow is. So thicker line. And then it's coming down at an angle. put a soft line there. That needs to be a strong line because it's a dark eye. And then just checking again. It's a teeny little bit comes down. It's hardly discernible. Just kind of put the suggestion in there and then down. That look is too wide now. We'll just put it up a bit. Just fill in the corner. Oh, I can see that, how we can rectify that. Yeah. This has got to come over here a bit more. Make sure his eye's in there. We'll just blend that over. Rectify that. And then we've got some darkness in here. And we're not going to be able to get any detail in, they're just too small. So we're just going to get the darker bits in and we'll blend it over. This is a darker mark here. There's a bit of darkness here. You can see it coming across. Okay, we'll do the other eye and then we'll do the blending. Slightly rounded. There is a tiny line under there. Although I did that line there by mistake, I've just left it because we can actually use that. just under there. Right, a little bit of darkness there, I can see. Here, definitely. Get that line in, and then that's dark in there. Line is darker. Slight shading on the ends. Very gently. Slight shading under here. And get some darkness in his eyes. A bit dark around here. A lot darker this side. I can see a little bit of light coming through there, but not much. To darker. Some shading going down here. Right, so we've got the shading